Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Natalie.
Hey, thanks for. I really want to thank you for making time to talk today, but I want to thank you too for allowing me to record it and to just share a little bit of personal space with you. So thank you.
Oh, it's my privilege and pleasure to
Thank you.
do whatever.
Thanks. Cool. So Vicky, what I'd love to do today is just we're going to spend about a half an hour, and we're just going to talk a little bit about something that is significant in your world at the moment, that maybe is having an impact on you or influencing you, just something that you wanted to talk about. So I'm wondering if there's something that's impacting on you at the moment, or that's on your mind that you wanted to talk a bit about.
Well, I do actually have something, and I guess it's been an issue in my life for a while in terms of how I manage life.
Okay.
And as you know, I'm a teacher, and it's a demanding job, and I am finding myself now in the role of a deputy principal where I'm just spending huge amounts of time at work, like long days, way more hours than is probably right, and I am very aware that it's out of balance, and I really want to work on the very cool phrase at the moment of a work-life balance. I've thought about it quite a lot, but I'm not actually been able to make it happen. So it would be great just to talk through some of the issues around that maybe, and help me, even if I could kind of get to a place of understanding why I haven't made it happen, because I want to make it happen. I want less time at work, and I want my time at work to be as effective and efficient as possible, but still have life outside of work. So that would be really helpful for us to, if we could chat through that. It would be a blessing to me.
Well, if that's what you want to talk about, I'd love to have that conversation and just see where we go with that. I hear you saying some of the things I've heard you say is you've talked about the work-life balance, and you talked about long hours and long days, and I also heard you say it's just not right. So obviously it sounds to me like you're uncomfortable with how it's sitting.
I am, for sure.
And also the work-life balance. So that sounds like, it sounds to me like that might be the goal. So I'm wondering Vicky, what would work-life balance look like for you? So if you could imagine getting to the end of a week, maybe getting to Friday afternoon and anticipating the weekend, I wonder what that would look like. Tell me what that would look like for you.
Well, I think I'd like to get to the end of a week not feeling completely depleted. So that then my weekend, which reasonably often would still have work involved in it, I'd like to get to the end of a week and not have work in the weekend, or not think, oh, maybe I should just do a few hours. And also to not be so depleted at the end of that week that I don't have the energy to do some real life things in the weekend, like go for a great big long walk, or it's been I want to get back to tennis, and I just feel lacking in energy because my work week has drained me at that energy level, and physically. So I'd like to get to Friday and think, yes, it's the weekend and I've got some living to do.
I'm noticing that's quite exciting for you.
Yes.
Okay. Can you remember a time, or can you think of a time even recently, where you've had space to maybe even consider a game of tennis, or a nice walk, or something that's just about you, and that I guess refills your tank?
Well, at the moment I'm in the middle of school holidays, so that always allows a bit of room for flexible hours, flexible days. So even yesterday I was working, but it was a beautiful day, and I thought, I'm going to go for a walk this afternoon. I'll finish my work at a certain point in time, go and do something that gives me a bit of life, and I may or may not come back to work after having done that walk. And I actually did do a little bit of work when I came home, but I came home energised and was able to just make the most of not only a beautiful day, but a time in the day rather than leaving it to the end of my day and then having that conundrum of, I really should go for a walk. I'd like to go for a walk, but I don't have the energy to go for a walk. And so that's what holiday time, or in between term times, whatever we want to call them. That's what it affords me, which is, it's lovely. But that's not the reality. In the middle of a 10-week term.
Okay. So it sounds like because it's the holidays, it's a bit exceptional.
Yeah.
Are there any times during the term when you've noticed that you can find even just a little bit of that exception? Are there days that you can recall where there was enough time to just get a bit of me time?
I can recall times when, if it was really a priority, I could have done that. There are a couple of days in my week where I don't have a meeting commitment at the end of the day.
Okay.
So if I was really looking after me, I would go, okay, I'm going home at 5:00 today, and I have time for a walk. And then I have time to do my dinner and all the rest of the evening. But I often find myself getting to that point and going, that would be really nice to do, but I've got this deadline and I've got to get to it. So I do find, my head tells me what would be good and right to do, and then a sense of responsibility or an over-drilled work ethic kicks in and makes it hard to then make that choice.
Okay. So I hear you, I heard you get quite excited when you talked about looking after you, and it sounds like that's something that you value, but perhaps you want to explore some ways to do that a bit more. And times when you've done it, you've noticed it change. So at the moment, what would you rate, with 1 being I'm just absolutely exhausted all the time at the end of a usual work week, and 10 being I get to Friday and feel completely satisfied and relaxed enough to do whatever I choose on the weekend? Where would you say an average week at the moment you would be feeling on a Friday afternoon?
Probably somewhere around a 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah.
So definitely at that depleted end.
Yeah.
But I know that the weekend does afford me some breathing space.
Nice.
And, even if it's not a whole weekend, lots of people don't get whole weekends. So, I have some energy for something in the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're 3 or 4 now, Vicky, what do you think would make enough difference to get you to the halfway mark of 5? If that was the goal, what would a 5 look like?
I think if I had found or made a priority of having some space in my week for that walk or that tennis game or a coffee with a friend or something that was delightful at a kind of a soul, physical, emotional level. If I'd had one afternoon where I had finished work a little bit earlier and managed to do something nice, then I'm pretty sure that would get me closer to 5.
Okay. So it sounds like you pretty much have an idea of what you'd like to change.
Yeah.
How will you manage to do that? So the holidays are about to end, and Monday's coming.
Yes.
Next week, when you go back to work, what is one thing that you could do that would change that for you and get you closer to a 5 in week 1?
Yeah. Next week's a really bad week to choose.
Yeah.
I guess I just have to, I don't know, tell myself this day, like even maybe I need to put it in my diary, finish work at 5 o'clock, go for a walk. And I could probably do that. I could look and see which day I can do that. Yeah.
So sounds like putting it in your diary and actually placing that as a priority for you could help make that time or just reserve that time for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would, because as no doubt Monday will come and there'll be a demand that will come that I haven't seen or anticipated.
Sure.
I do know next week is a really full week at school.
Sure.
But if I have something on my diary, then I feel like I can say with all good conscience, I actually have something on and I can't do that meeting that time.
Yeah.
And that would be a very genuine and honest response, and a nice right kind of out of any demand that might come. So that would be helpful.
Sounds like that would be helpful. Okay. And what would other people be doing, and what might other people do and notice if we said that would make your world, your balance, life balance, look like a 5? What would other people notice and be doing if it was to move to a 6? If you got closer to that perfect balance.
I think in the people that I spend the most time with, who are my work colleagues, would probably see a slightly more relaxed Vicky, a less withdrawn Vicky. Because when I get more and more tired, I don't lash out. I tend to withdraw and just want more and more quiet and space in my own office. So they might see me engaging a bit more, just in collegial banter in the staff room and coming over for lunch and some of those kinds of things. It would be nice to think that my friends, as I made time for them, would also see me in a slightly more relaxed state, and that the conversation that I might bring up would be maybe more positive, more encouraging, more others focused. So I think there'd be some positive spin, and for myself, I think I would feel better about life, and rather than just putting one foot in front of the other and making it to the next thing that might excite me. So
sounds like it would.
Yeah.
Nice. And so I'm just wondering about how you would manage to do that. And what I heard you say earlier is you have a very high work ethic. What do you think you say to yourself at the end of the day when you take yourself off for a walk? What do you tell yourself about that time you've spent going for a walk?
Well, the times when I have done it, mostly I've said this is okay because I can just start work a little bit earlier tomorrow. So I have always felt like I need to make up that time. And often my walking will include lots of processing about the things that I've just left at work and how I can more efficiently or approach them the next day, so that I haven't put myself sort of further under pressure. And yet I also notice that I do tell myself, this feels good, I should do this more often.
Feels good. Nice. Okay. And what would your direct manager, your line manager, say about you spending that time? In a sense, you've said it feels like you're sort of not doing perhaps what you should be doing or could be doing. What do you think your manager would say about that?
I suspect she'd say, just go and do it, Vicky.
Yeah.
So yeah, because obviously and I've said it myself, the rhetoric is that, we bring all of who we are to our work.
Yeah.
And if who I am is a weary, tired, grumpy, not enjoying life kind of person, then that's not a benefit for anybody, and it certainly isn't the benefit for the teachers under my care or the children. So, yeah, looking after ourselves means that we bring something of life back into the workplace. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure she would say, just go, Vicky.
Yeah. And you described a different Vicky when you felt that you had the work, what a different Vicky might look like when you've got that balance a bit more balanced. And that Vicky you talked about, I liked the phrase you used, collegial banter. And that sounded like fun.
Yeah.
So is that something that you think you'd like more of in your future? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think when I've been in positions where I haven't had, maybe say, a position of responsibility, I have been in that workspace the one who's made the joke or brought a funny moment or, and just, I like to try and lift people's spirits. So, but under the weight of responsibility, sometimes that gets a bit squashed and life gets a bit serious.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like I'm really admiring the way you've already started to plan what you'd like next week to look like, and then the 8 or 9 weeks after that. So at the end of the term, what would you like to be your statement about how term 4 looked?
I think it would be unrealistic for me to say that I'd like it to be, I've achieved work-life balance.
Yeah.
But I think it would be possible for me to be able to say, with some well-placed breaks, I managed to navigate this term in a much healthier way.
Sounds like a plan. Navigate the term. Well-planned breaks. Yeah. And so what number would you be at if you had taken well-planned breaks and navigated this term well?
I'd be very happy if I could say that I was a 7 or an 8 at the end of the term.
Okay.
I'd feel pretty satisfied, I think.
Sounds...
And if that's possible, then that would be something to aim for sure.
Sounds like it's possible. I wonder if we can explore. So we talked about Monday. You're going to put that in your diary.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to put another appointment in the diary? Will it be a recurring one, do you think? Or how else will you do that again? How will you repeat that?
Because my weeks do look different from week to week, depending on evening school commitments.
Of course.
I think that doing it, maybe actually doing it on the Sunday night before going into my work week, before I've kind of hit work, while I'm thinking clearly, that would work each week.
Yeah.
That way I can see where maybe some of the pressure points of a week will be and work around those so that I'm better prepared for them. I think Sunday night is probably a good option, and initially just do it week by week.
Yep.
I'm aware that it takes a while to form a new habit, so one would hope that eventually it would just be really normal for me to make sure that I have something in my week that brings that balance. But until I've got to that place, scheduling something I think every week is probably a good way to go, and maybe just even sharing it with someone like my friend, like you, saying this, Thursday night I've got it scheduled, I'm going for a walk, or whatever it is. But just to have that another person that, because at the moment I would be the only person who knows what's in my diary, and it would be very easy to just delete it. under pressure. But if I've said to you, I'm going on Thursday, and I would absolutely say you're free to text me on Friday and say, how was your walk last night, Vicky? And then I would make that commitment to being honest and saying, you know, either it was great or, let it be crowded out.
So planning for pressure points sounds really intentional. And I'm noticing that you're really motivated for this.
Yeah.
And I think I like the idea of the accountability. And I'm wondering what the people that you're going to be accountable to would notice about you. Because we're outside of the work environment now.
Yes.
We've taken it out.
Yeah.
And imagining now in your home life, maybe even when you're ringing, because I know you contact your mother regularly.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking to your mother, what will she notice?
Well, her comment is, oh, you sound tired. So it would be nice for her to hear a lift in my voice. And I think that would definitely be an immediate impact, that just one little, nice moment through the week. I mean, that's not to say there aren't lots of nice moments, but something that brings that balance would have that initial impact, I think. I would have more to talk to her about too, rather than always just talking about what happened at work or this meeting or that issue or whatever. So there would be a change in conversation too, I think, in that relationship with Mum on Sundays usually.
Lovely. And so what are some of the other things that you will do that will help lift your spirits? So you've talked about going for a walk and maybe meeting a friend for a coffee. What are the other things that you do that fill your tank, that refuel you?
Sure. Spending time just reading. I've just had a holiday and I spent great chunks of days just reading, not talking to anybody, just sitting with a book, and that simply has not happened, does not happen in term time at all. I think it might happen before I go to bed, but I read about 2 lines and I'm, falling asleep. So it would be nice to make some time for that, just for reading, and sometimes reading, quite purposeful reading in terms of just growing my own relationship with God, as well as just reading a novel that I'm enjoying at the moment. That would be a lovely thing to be able to work into an evening, rather than thinking about work or working away on something. So
it sounds like, and I'm hearing you say that times with God is part of your refueling.
Yeah, definitely.
So is your faith and is your relationship with God a source of strength for you, a source of refreshment?
Absolutely. I couldn't do what I do if he were not absolutely the foundation and the source of it all. Having said that, I'm also very aware that he doesn't get the best of me either. I do maintain a regular time with him in the mornings for sure, but I've often thought it'd been really nice to spend some time playing my guitar at night, or watching a YouTube clip of something that's edifying and just growing who I am as a believer. And God is very much a part of that, and I've heard that call to deepen that. But once again, work has sapped me, and then I go, well, God will understand. He's good with that, but I know he's not really, because I want to give my best to him and everything as well. And yes, he is the source of that energy and that strength and the inspiration to do what I do. So the more time that I do spend with him, then obviously the flow-on effect for work is really positive as well. So
So I'm wondering how God would see that. I'm wondering how what can you imagine God would say to you about spending some time with him? You talked about playing your guitar with him, and just spending some time in His presence in that way,
Yeah.
how would God respond to that? Do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think it would delight His heart if I could even actually do that, to think that I was making Him a priority. It's a bit,
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds. Yeah, that would be lovely, and He would be delighted. And but I think too, He just delights.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. So it sounds like, yeah, on Monday, you're looking forward to getting to your diary
Yes.
and putting in it, marking in some Vicky time.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to hear how that goes for you.
Yes.
What, in the times when it gets very pressured, those pressure points,
Yeah.
what sustained you through those times in the past? What's been the things that have managed to get you through a particularly hard day?
Sure. In those times, and it should probably be like this all the time, but in those times particularly, that is when I go, oh, God, I really need your help now. I could keep trying to do this in my own strength, and I'm just going to keep working.
Yeah.
Or God, you can just either give me the wisdom to deal with this situation, or the way through, or the whatever it is that I'm needing. And I know it has happened so many times that you'd think one would learn and do it all the time. But so many times when I have done that real heartfelt cry, God, I need you.
Yeah.
Just the thing that I need to share with another teacher, for example, will come across an email and it'll be like, that's what I need to pass on. Thank you, God. Or He'll just drop an idea into my head at a time when someone said, I don't know how to deal with this. And He just supernaturally has come through so many times. So yes, in those pressure moments, that is when I really cry out to Him. And He's unbelievably faithful. And then there are times in those moments when I'm crying out to Him that I'm also having a wee meltdown myself, and maybe just sitting in my office crying, I can't do this, I don't know how to cope.
Sure.
And even in that, I know that even in that moment, His peace just kind of comes and says, it's all right, we'll get through this.
Thank you for being so honest. That's very real. And and I'm hearing you say that, you haven't always, in your view, you haven't always got through those moments well, but you've got through them.
Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, it sounds like you've had a really hard year.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And here you are, ready to go again on Monday. And
Indeed.
so you've got some real capacity to just get up and move on and keep going. And I think that, that sounds like that's what sustained you, that relationship with God, and that knowledge that you have the ability to do that. What would you say your strengths are, your personal strengths that allow you to do that?
Well, I think, my parents have brought me up with that really strong work ethic. So, and I think that is a strength. If I'm committed to doing a job, my father used to say, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. So I've had that really reinforced to me, and I have the capacity and the intrinsic drive to want to do a job well. So that keeps me going, even in the midst of feeling the most tired. That's before me, and that's where I want to get to. So, I guess personal discipline in that is a strength. I think ultimately, knowing that I'm called to do what I do keeps me, even in the hardest or the most tiring or the most challenging moments. It's not about doing a job. It's about being where I'm supposed to be, where God wants me to be, and doing what He wants me to do. And I think in my role, particularly, as in a leadership team at school, I think the strength that I bring to that is that I just want the best for everybody in that school community. I want the best for our children. I want to support the teachers in the best way that I can. So I'm quite motivated to serve them as well as I can, so that they can do the job that God's called them to do to the best of their ability. So that's
Sounds to me like one of your strengths is integrity too, and leadership perhaps.
Yeah, I think integrity.
Yeah.
I think I'm growing as a leader. I'm the longer that I'm in leadership roles, the more aware I am of leadership lack.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because God has very graciously put around me people who have leadership strength in the areas where I lack. But yes, I guess, integrity of whether anyone's watching me or not, I want to do the job well.
Yeah.
And certainly that's really important to me. Yeah.
Okay. The team that you work with will certainly be appreciating, I can imagine, your abilities and your strengths. And I'm looking forward to hearing and even perhaps seeing the change as you start to put those steps in place, and show them the Vicky that you talked about, the Vicky that's effervescent and sort of instigates the jokes and the camaraderie. Yeah.